Moses, God's spokesman. Carol Warren, Survey of Old Testament, Oral Roberts University. Moses led the people out from Egypt. Through him, God gave his people their rule of life, the law, giving himself to them and making them his in a lasting contract, the covenant. The story begins. Kill all male babies. The family of the Hebrew Jacob, which had joined Joseph in Egypt, grew over time until the Egyptians found them a threat. Accordingly, the king decreed all Hebrew male babies should be killed. Moses is hidden by his mother and sent down the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter finds Moses, the Hebrew baby, and raises him, and he lives happily as an Egyptian until he kills an overseer who he sees abusing an Israelite. Moses flees. Moses flees to Midian, where he marries Zipporah and lives as a shepherd until God appears before him in the form of a burning bush, ordering him to return to Egypt to secure the freedom of the Israelites. The plagues. Moses follows God's command and, teaming up with his brother Aaron, repeatedly approaches Pharaoh and asks him to free the Israelites. Pharaoh refuses, even as God rains down increasingly horrific plagues until the 10th plague, the killing of the firstborn. Pharaoh then lets God's people go after the death of his own son. The Lord will fight for you. Pharaoh and his officials changes their minds. Hemmed in between sea and mountains, with water before them and Pharaoh's forces at their backs, the people of Israel meet their first big test of faith, and they panic, crying out to God and accusing Moses of betrayal. But God drives back the waters so that they can cross in safety, sending a wall of water rushing down upon Pharaoh's forces. If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. Speak to the rock. Take the rod, and gather thou this assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth their water. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. God's spokesman. Moses dispensed justice before reaching Mount Sinai, but on the mountain he received from God the Torah, the law of Israel, including the 10 Commandments, which became the basis of Jewish and Western society. Moses warns the people. God is ready to forgive and restore, even those who have forsaken him. He confronts them with a choice: life, loving God and keeping his commandments, or death, forsaking God, which is a blessing or a curse. The Promised Land. God tells Moses to climb Mount Nebo in order to see the Promised Land. He cannot enter in because he failed to honor God in the matter of water from the rock at Meribah. Therefore, we learn that there are consequences in disobeying God. Either we live by loving and obeying God and His Word, or we die by forsaking and disobeying Him and His Word. If we obey God, heaven is our home.